Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next review of the next episode of Zombieland Saga Revenge, episode 10. And after watching it, first of all, I didn't expect the first 5 minutes. Right off the bat, I didn't expect the first 5 minutes to start off as a flashback because I was like, at first I was like, why are they trying this again after it was a disaster the first time? But oh wait, being such a I didn't think it out through enough. This turned out the opening of this was a flashback to the opening of the first season because not the first season, this second season. Which okay, because how it opened when we started out this season. It started off when the girls were in a slump and definitely in a lot of amount of debt due to they attempted to do at this big huge arena, and it was a massive flop due to the lack of audience, right? And why Koto was drinking himself to death, and the girls were getting jobs trying to pay off the debt. But here, it was the first 5 or so minutes was like a flashback setting up to the opening of the first episode. How Kotaro was like, he was being ticket sales for like 25,000, I think it was, for that big how big the stadium was. Because if we look at the stadium, there was a huge stadium right there. Sorry, but which ultimately led to Kotaro was like thinking this would be great and all this, but they're always following his league on this thing. But then ended up being a big flop, and that's how it ended up, being a disaster, and that's how he ended up drinking himself, and that's how the girls were trying to get jobs to pay off the debt. Which one thing I did like about the reason why that this is because after that disaster, the girls were thinking about what to do, and what were they since they were basically sitting around doing nothing. I like the fact that Tai comes in wearing she tried to do the makeup on herself, right? Trying to be out in the public, right? Which I thought was a nice character moment for her, despite the fact she still can't speak, right? But almost a zombie like still, but Tai does still have some of the smarts of the girls have still, which the thing I liked about her. She went out to put makeup on herself out in public to go and get groceries and using Kotaro's money to buy food, right? So that was a nice moment, which led to the girls that they can still do, they can still help, to sit around instead of sit around, let's just go out and help and get try to pay off the debt. So I like the moment with Tai when she did that. So inspiring the girls so they can still go out and try to help out. So after that, we fast forward up to the present where the journalist, which I'll get to that part though, but we see Kotaro. I like the fact that Kotaro, he's learned from his mistakes because they're going to try to attempt it again because it's been a year after that, after the first disaster. They're going to try to do the same thing again though, but this time they're going to do things differently. And I also like the fact that Kotaro, he has what's the word? Well, honestly changed though, but I like the fact he did apologize to the girls. That was his fault on his part that what happened last year during the last year. So I like the fact he did apologize to them instead of shouting and screaming usual though, but he said he was sorry for that. But this time they're going to do something differently. And I like that this is where the title comes, with the word revenge in the title, Zombieland Saga Revenge. This is where he says, "This is your revenge." And I did like that. I did like the fact where that title part of that does come into play finally, because throughout the rest of this whole season, we didn't see what was that part of revenge. Why is it part called revenge? So, but here, this is where that part comes in, which I did like about. And afterwards, the girls they're gonna trust him this time again, because despite he says he's gonna do things a bit differently. Okay, and the fact that he's out on the stadium. He's out there where the arena is staring at there a second time. That's when the journalist comes in. He tells them about the girls that they're zombies, but say that which I understand I understand his viewpoint from his vantage point. Basically, he was saying how you're using these dead girls to make money off of them, yeah, yada yada, right? And he said he's gonna publish the story. He's gonna expose them to to what they really are. Now, on that pack though, part of me is like, okay, I understand from his viewpoint. He thinks he's making profits off these dead girls, you could say. But the thing is though, with the journalist, if he does publish the story though, and exposing including their fans who really enjoy them. After being huge fans of them for so long, of say going all to their concerts and liking them so much, do they think that they care that they're zombies or not? If they're really big fans of them, are they really going to care if whether the story goes public and expose them for the other? Do you think that the fans are going to care if they're girls or, they're zombies or not? And which also leads to the fact that if some of their, from the people they met in the past, right, like Lily's father or Saki's best friend, right, which would kind of explain, oh yeah, that's why you resemble them so much, right? But do they honestly believe that do they care, or the rest of the fans care that they're zombies or not? But by the fact that when he was about to make it go public, the power turns off because there's this massive storm it's hitting them, which leads into the next episode where this big massive storm comes in. But also before that happens, the Kotaro goes to that bar again where the bartender is, which is the old man from the past, Kishi's grandfather. Which you say his ancestor, part of his ancestry, probably Kotaro's ancestry, though. But why he's able to live for so long due to the magic, though. But he's asking Kotaro, it's like he's like because the journalist what he found out, and he tells Kotaro like, it's no, I'm surprised that no one caught on earlier. That's what he said, and saying about saving Saga again, though, and he says that, and Kotaro tells him, I'm going to do this to make sure that no one will ever forget Saga. So that's why he has faith in the girls and why they're doing the second time. But he's make sure that no one will ever forget the Saga. No one will, because the old guy thinks that everyone's just going to forget about it now. But Kotaro is still clinging on that no one will ever forget Saga because of these girls. He says that they're all legends, which when he first addressed Sakura. Right, that she's not a legend though, but he does kind of refer to her as now. But when he first did, he didn't say that though. So yeah, but they're all legends, so that's why they'll make sure they'll never forget Saga. So, and then it leads up to that massive storm, and just when the journalist is before he was making his article published, the power starts to like, oh, you're serious? So yeah, and then the preview leads, which like the old man, the bartender, he's going to like have some like attack, right? Which kind of is making like the similar to like how he was in the backstory of Yuguri's backstory when he was having like almost having himself an attack, right? So I guess we're gonna see a similar of that play out to the next episode. So this episode was really good. I mean, I was really good. So first, I like how it's set up. Also, and it became like the setting up before the first episode of the season with a flashback before that big disaster the first time, and showing how like how Tai's character she inspired the girls like to go out and do something of themselves instead of sitting around doing nothing. Like how she just tried to put makeup on herself and use the money to buy food and stuff like that, right? And Kotaro's character, his character, that's how he has changed since the last year, so he's not going to make the same mistake again, then we're going to do something different. This is your revenge this time, while the title comes in. And I liked how he said he was sorry for that. The first time, I guess this is the first time he's ever apologized ever, he mean that sincerely to the girls, which I did like about. So it shows that he did have some growth to his character. Shows that he does. So he's just a shouting, screaming man who always telling him what to do, like for saving the saga. But I liked how he was humbled by this. That's what I was saying. That was the word I was thinking of. He was humbled by this. Very humbled. That's why he apologized to the girls. So I did like that about his character. He became humble to that point. And the whole thing with the reporter. I mean, will Fawn Shushu's fans really care if they do get exposed? Think they're going to care if they're zombies or not? I mean, or maybe the journalists won't publish it just at the last second because he's seen that how the girls were. Maybe he's been really like, what's another word? How not entranced, but just seeing how well these girls have performed over time. Maybe he won't, but he's definitely gonna publish it. It looks like he is because he was about to just right when the power cut off. So he is still gonna find to expose the truth about them. But like I said, would their fans care if they're zombies or not because they like them so much? And they're probably like, oh, even though they're zombies, they're not gonna eat us. They're Fawn Shushu. So yeah. So yeah. So episode 10. What was the title of this part here? The saga of how these zombies will get their revenge. Yeah. The saga of how these zombies will get their revenge. So episode 10, I really did enjoy. Like, say how, first, like I said, opened about it was just shown as a flashback before the settings of the first episode, how their whole big blow up went, Kotaro's humbleness afterwards, the journalist, and everything else. So yeah, the whole set is now everything is starting to come full circle for towards the end of this finale here. Which ultimately is by the end, by the time this ends, maybe we'll wrap up by the 12th episode, but or maybe it'll lead to another third season. I don't know how that's gonna work though, but we'll think about though. But episode 10 is right now. Everything's starting to come full circle by the end, and everything else, like I said about it, I did enjoy about it. So that's episode 10. And now, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next review of episode 11 of Zombieland Saga Revenge. Now the revenge comes in now. Later. And stay tuned for more for Anime Month as well. Later.